Today on Dr. Decoded, we're talking lab tests. What are they? What is a lab test anyways? What's a proper lab test? Is it worth the money? And does it tell you anything? We'll answer those questions and more next. So, with a lab test, I get asked all the time, is a lab test important to discover my health problem? And it's an absolute yes, but a proper lab test. A proper lab test is a starting point to figure out the cause or causes to your health problem. If you're serious about quitting symptom chasing and digging down, drilling down to the cause or causes of your chronic health problem, a lab test is essential. But as I said, a proper lab test. Usually people come to me and they say, well, I've had a lab test already run by my doctor. It didn't show anything, and he said everything's normal, and he placed me on an antidepressant because it's all in my head, or I feel like I'm being labeled a hypochondriac. Well, a proper lab test. Usually what people bring me is a half-page test that looks something like this, that the insurance company paid for, and it's not enough information to figure out what is going on. Let me show you what a proper lab test looks like. It is this long. And I'm not the smartest guy in the book, but I'm smart enough to know you got to have all the information if you're going to figure out a problem. This is not enough information. This is only what an insurance policy covers. This is the test you need. And often the kicker is people paid more for this lab test than they're paid for this lab test. So, is lab testing important? Absolutely. And even more important than that is proper interpretation of the lab test. Not only is it important to know what test to run, but what they mean when they're within normal range, or if they're high, or if they're low, and what that means in correlation with other lab tests that have been run, because of how labs get their normal numbers or normal ranges. Do you know how the lab gets their normal ranges? They simply average the people that come in for lab work, and they take an average on all the people that came in for lab work. Now, can you and I agree that more sick people than healthy people go for lab work? And so in doing, just averaging everybody that comes to the lab, you're comparing sick people to sick people. So back in the 80s, the American Society of Clinical Chemists said, what we're doing is nuts. We're comparing sick people to sick people. What we should do is develop a range called the functional range that determines if you're healthy and your body's functioning normally, what should your lab numbers look like, and anything that falls outside of that means that there's a disease process or something's not functioning properly. Therefore, you pick up on problems or the cause of problems sooner than just comparing yourself to sick people. Okay? And just honestly, most doctors have not been versed on what lab tests to run and on how to interpret the results properly, because it makes no difference in their course of treatment. So why spend time on it? When you have a lab test run, a proper lab test, proper interpretation is key to figure out what are the cause or causes of your health problem. And a proper lab test is, like I said, the starting point of objective information to figure out exactly what's going wrong with specifically you. Hey, this is Dr. Lauren Mathis, wishing you the best in health.